You. You. No, no, you. 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 No, no, you. You. Ignore that description. I had a completely different description. And then I hit the wrong button and had to redo the description and fucked it up and forgot what I originally said, which was perfect. So, of course. You. 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 So, I feel like and like, you know what I mean? I feel like and like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? No, I was really feeling like was falling apart. Um, for some reason. But that nothing a jog can't fix. Dude, I love that. That's a great thing about running is I don't care what kind of fucking mood you're in or what's going on in life. If you go for a jog, you will flip that script. So it's just I don't know. I live in North Arizona, so it's really windy, and I think somehow that fucks with people's frequencies. When it's so fucking windy outside, it's hard to think, really. And you don't want to do shit. Stepping out in a goddamn windstorm every time you leave the house. It's like, Okay, I actually was out doing stuff all morning and super productive. I think too that has to do with sobriety. The original description to this live was life, death, sobriety. I think that's one thing that's wrong with these generations is I don't think there's a lot of fuckers out there that think they're gonna die. I think maybe some old people know it. But I think, I don't know, we try to hide death in Western, specifically American culture. Because, you know, they want people to be consumers and not be spiritual or think about, you know, that everybody's gonna die. I know some people think that Jesus is gonna come back or they're gonna have some spiritual epiphany. Or like everybody's gonna die together in some climatic fucking end of the world event. It's like, no, none of that's just gonna happen. None of that's just gonna happen. You're just gonna fucking die. Everybody's gonna just fucking die. You know, and I think to know that is beneficial because then you're able to appreciate, value life a lot better when you know you're gonna die. People be acting like they ain't gonna fucking die out there. Like they're just never gonna fucking die. Like Jesus is gonna come back or technology's gonna get to this. Technology's gonna get so advanced where people just live longer. People be acting like they ain't gonna motherfucking die. Avocado oil. Splash of avocado oil. And I don't know what the fuck's up with my feed lately on dude, I'm doing like 5 things at once right now. I gotta do the dishes, I have to put up dishes, I have to make breakfast. I've already had 2 cups of coffee. But I don't know what's up with my feed on YouTube lately. It's just been all satanic stuff. Every little video they recommend me is some satanic documentary. So I've been watching satanic documentaries, and even the Christian or the Orthodox or the good channels, if you will, they're even covering satanic stuff, you know? So it's just like, fuck, everything that pops up is satanic on my YouTube. I think it's been a little depressing, actually. Symbols hold power, you know, and even if you're Orthodox or a non-biased YouTuber and you're throwing up all those satanic symbols on your channel, it's still is carrying those negative frequencies. So I know some of you like that shit. Some of you like to feel like you're fucking soulless fucking robots and shit, all bitter and desensitized. I know some of y'all into that shit, especially when you're in your 20s, right? That's what you get into in your 20s. But again, it goes back to people not thinking that they're gonna fucking die. Like they're gonna attain some motherfucking superpower through the occult and like live forever and have this incredible, powerful, long living life. It's like, no, you're just gonna fucking die. Sorry. Everybody, Wing Chun tonight. Everybody, Wing Chun tonight. Yeah, and you know, one of these, I gotta get eggs. Always gotta go to the goddamn fucking store. Ah. So I was just gonna say, yeah, oh yeah. So on the algorithms on my YouTube, it's just been one satanic video after another. And one of the videos was how all these famous occultic people died, and it had 30 famous, like the guy who, I forget his name, he created the spacecraft fuel to reach outer space. He's working for the government. He lived in Pasadena. He was friends with the Church of Scientology guy, and they had all these crazy occultic parties or whatever. Well, he eventually blew himself up. And then, of course, some people are saying it's the CIA or the FBI because they were already, you know, watching him, and all these complaints from neighbors, people dancing around fires naked and shit, just all this weird activity. So anyways, and obviously he came out with that super important patent and that technology, so a lot of times the government will do a hostile takeover if your business is creating something or knows something that the government could use, that they could put in their toolbox. Instead of going to your business and going, oh, let's partner or let's work together, they'll just, you know, come to your business with a fucking stack of papers, and it's called a hostile takeover, and they'll just take your shit over. So, I mean, maybe he was killed. Maybe, you know, they got what they needed out of him. But anyway, so he blew himself up. He was 37. That's really young, you know, super young to die. Everybody Wang Chung tonight. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? This is why I feel like my life's falling apart, is I don't have a fucking plate. Nothing is clean in this fucking house. Just kidding. So, and then Rasputin had some, you know, he was the mad monk, Russian monk. I don't know if he's really like what the West would consider a cult type person, But he was into some weird shit, and he thought some weird shit. And apparently he had, powers. Stupid fucking eggs. Stupid fucking eggs. These stupid fucking eggs. So his idea was like the more people were sexually immoral, like the more spiritual, somehow it benefited them. They attained more spiritual grace, and all like, so basically women were throwing themselves at him because he had some sort of ability to woo them. He thought it brought upon, the grace of the Holy Spirit the more you sinned, basically. Why do I feel like he's not the only guy that thought that? But so they try to kill him, a bunch of times. They try to kill him over and over again, and just it never worked. And then finally they just shot him in the fucking head and threw him in the river, and then he finally fucking died after trying to kill him. Everybody went drunk tonight. Oh my god. Celery salt. So I don't know why people get so into the occult, and they got some bizarre beliefs. I think again, it's like you're gonna fucking die. Why would you get so into occultism and shit? But they're so warped with their indoctrination and what they believe in. Satanists believe that hell is not like what Christians say it is. And that I think actually Satanists believe that Christians go to a different planet with Jesus, and then eventually Satanists take over the earth or something, and it's some great party or something. So that's the only way, in my mind, someone could be a Satanist for so long, is believe in some just out there shit. Because again, you're gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna die. That's what we're missing out in society, is nobody thinks they're gonna fucking die. Just made some eggs real quick. And when you're gonna die, all of a sudden you're appreciating life more. You're more conscious. You have a higher consciousness. So I'm gonna do some dishes while these eggs cool down, because these eggs are hot. This is ridiculous. I hate it. I never let my kitchen get this backed up. So yeah, I don't know why the algorithms, they just, every video they give me some satanic fucking YouTube video, so I've been watching all this dark ass shit, and it's fucking depressing. Now I feel like, today I feel like my life's falling apart because I've been watching fucking satanic documents. What's the fucking word? I swear to God, when you get fucking older, you can't even fucking say the words. That's why old people don't talk. They can't even fucking think of words to say. They're just like, I'm all documentary. Been watching satanic documentaries. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you, boy? Watching that devil shit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's up with just like, even these secular. Everybody's covering Satanism the last couple of weeks. It's fucking negative. Oh, come on, man. You retracted your message. Couldn't have been that bad. It couldn't have been that bad. At least you liked it. At least you liked the video. You liked the fucking video, okay? First of all, you liked the fucking video. Good job. Yeah, but I swear to God that satanic documentaries and shit, it's fucking negative. It's depressing. I don't know why the algorithm keeps, one satanic, it's like negative, man. Then I'm starting to feel all depressed and shit, like my life's falling apart. I'm watching fucking wicked ass stories, wicked events that's happened and shit, and I'm all watching this shit for hours, the last 3 days. What's wrong with you people, man? These go over here. No wonder Protestants just got rid of all symbols. All these symbols hold, power and frequencies. There's like, nope, no symbols, nothing of any shapes. No, thank you. I was like, I get that shit now. Not good. Anyways, I think too, I've been so busy the last, year that it's hard to, just have some days of doing nothing, basically, It's hard to do nothing. Yeah, but anyways, I watched maybe, 30 minutes of that YouTube video where it shows how all these occult leaders died. It's like, and then Jeffrey Epstein, he was a cult leader, I'm sure, He fucking died in prison. So I don't know why everybody's getting all into the occult and Satanism when you're just gonna fucking die anyways. But again, they have this whole different belief system that is so far from reality. They had to kill Jeffrey Epstein. They had to kill that motherfucker. Could you imagine he had to die. Could you imagine if Jeffrey Epstein did not die? We would be hearing about Jeffrey Epstein for fucking years. Every month, every week he made a court appearance. He'd be like, Jeffrey Epstein arrives in court today in a yellow sweatshirt and a blue tie. And we'd be watching his dumb fucking ass go to court for like 5 fucking years telling on everybody. You don't even know what he's saying is true because he's in so much fucking trouble. So I think he was killed. I'm pretty sure. He was either killed or they let him go and gave him a different alias. Because what's that mob dude that spent years in that exact prison cell he was in? Spent years in there. And he says it's impossible to hang yourself or kill yourself in these prison cells They design them like that. They design the prison cells where it's impossible to hang yourself in any way or to kill yourself. So he didn't kill himself in the prison cell. He either was killed or let go. But either way, I'm glad that he's gone. Only because I don't want to fucking hear about this dude for the next 15 fucking years about him going to another fucking court hearing. Who was that pastor that just got killed in prison? All these people get sent to prison. They're like, they killed themselves. It's like, no, they didn't. They were killed and the guards are in on it because it's a win-win. When the guards go along with the politics and go along with the prisoners, it makes their job fucking easier. All of a sudden, they don't have to worry about being killed or beat down by prisoners. It's a whole nother world in there. You know, the Epstein guard, he forgot to check on him, 2 rounds in a row, and the cameras were turned off. He was fucking killed. He was either killed or let go. Sometimes it makes you wonder if any of that shit is even fucking real in the first place. Sometimes I think they're just trying to make Satanism a topic. All of a sudden you have people talking about sick shit. It's in their minds. It's negative. It's just like the satanic symbols. You know, it's just like all these so-called Christian creators that are covering satanic topics and putting their thumbnails as the satanic cross and shit. It's like, I think it's all that Epstein thing was just a government op to put Satanism and evil things in everybody's fucking mind. And everybody's talking about evil shit for 2 years. Right after COVID. All of a sudden, no one's fucking caring about COVID anymore because it's all about Epstein. You know, it's just one thing after another. It's better that you feel like your life's falling apart than being all wrapped up in, you know, all these topics that are not encouraging or edifying. Talking about some fucking creep in his fucking island and shit. Fucking burning up right now. The whole point to Satanism is to spread basically uncertainty. Fear and uncertainty. That's it. They make you think a bunch of shit has happened or that's going to happen that has never happened. And that's really a lot of what the police force is for. Is they want to make you feel like you've done something wrong, or you're going to get in trouble, or you're being watched. You know, it's just to basically psych people out and puts everybody back in their place, back in line. That's exactly how the occult operates. It's just a fucking mind fuck. And that's why they have TV programming. TV programmed people how to respond and how to be compliant to law enforcement, government authorities, the judicial system, the health industry. Because when you watch these shows, it was always the smart and attractive people that had their lives together that seemed, you know, witty and confident. Those were the people that were compliant in all these TV shows we grew up with. So that's why we are all compliant, because we were programmed to be. Return to your regular programming. When really, I'm not really too sure that the police or these industries or corporations, I don't even think they have our best interest in mind. I think a lot of shit's just a fucking joke to them. They just think it's funny to basically fuck with people. So there's two sides to technology. Like, basically as technology increases in AI, a lot of these government jobs are going to be, we're just not going to need them. We're not going to need a lot of these government jobs. Because now our devices are like little monitoring systems. Meaning, these cell phones are so in our heads that if someone is actually going to do a horrible crime, the cell phone would pick up on it before anybody else would. And they know that shit. They have access to people's cell phones. They could get into people's cell phones easily. That's why, like, I think the real criminals or freedom fighters, whatever you want to call them, those people will not have cell phones, and they won't have modern vehicles, because modern vehicles have all sorts of surveillance. Can't even fucking talk. Modern vehicles have all sorts of surveillance. Surveillances. Modern vehicles have all sorts of modern surveillances. And they're listening and watching. I mean, they're staging shit. They're making shit up. They've been staging and making up shit for the last 80 fucking years. And just in the last 20 years did people start catching on, but it was still conspiracy. And in the last 10 years, it's I would say about half of the people out there knows that the government and mainstream news and all these agenda and narrative creators are just fucking basically Satanists. They're crazy. They're desensitized. They've desensitized their humanness, and they've replaced it with the demonic. And they don't even know it. And the best part is when they hear that, they laugh. They literally think it's funny because they don't believe demons are real. They don't believe in consequences. They don't believe in heaven and hell. They're atheists. You know, they don't believe that there's, you know, anything out there. And they have a satanic sort of mindset, like might is right. You know, whoever manipulates more, whoever's more powerful, they get the upper hand and nothing else matters, and there's no consequences, and nobody has spirits or souls. They're fucking psychopaths. Seriously. The people that are running our government, they're fucking lunatics. They're just trying to see how much they can get away with. And they're waiting for everybody to get together and try to overthrow the government. Write that down. Because once people actually have a plan to do that, that's when they implement martial law. Oh, you're a terrorist. You're against our terrorism. You hear people say the government's the biggest terrorist organization out there, specifically the U.S. government. It's like, oh, you can't. You're a terrorist. We're not terrorists. You're the terrorist. You have all these fucking crazy people going pointing the finger saying, you're the terrorist. No, you're the terrorist. No, you're the terrorist. Bunch of fucking maniacs out there. So apparently Islam's going to take over the country somehow. I've been hearing that a lot lately. I don't think that's true. I think that's just anti-Semite propaganda. What are they, like fucking 1-2%, less than 1% of the population? And they're going to take over? I don't know about that. I don't think that's true. I want another cup of coffee, but I've already had 2. I just like the way coffee tastes and keep drinking that shit. Alright. I have more dishes to do, but I'm fucking tired of doing dishes. Do them later. Basically, the agenda, the goal is to get rid of all religions and implement 15-minute cities. And people are becoming more and more like product. They're treating people like objects and not like, people with value and souls and stuff. They're treating people like objects. I love it when people retract their comments. It's like, oh, did I offend you? Did I offend? The funny thing about America is, not to sound like such a fucking anarchist, is, technically we shouldn't even be a country. This was all Native American land for so many thousands and thousands of years since, whatever, the beginning. So, first of all, we don't have any rights because we shouldn't even be here. Which is why I think one of the reasons why they didn't pass Trump's bill was because whoever's born here has basically are born citizens. They have legal citizenship if they're born here. Because if you think about it, we shouldn't even fucking be here in the first place. This is all Native American land. So it was a hostile takeover, It was a satanic mindset that took over this country, that started this country. Might is right. The people from Europe had horses and fucking guns and shit and basically took over. It was an alien invasion. From the Native American perception, it was a alien invasion. We probably look like fucking aliens to them. We were like 7 foot tall, long blonde hair. We had all this armor on. They were probably, no wonder they just killed the first people that came over here. So now we took over this land, and now we're starting to micromanage and abuse the people, our own fucking citizens, because it's never enough with uh, maniacs and psychopaths. You know, it's if they could implement more rules and more qualifiers, and if they could tax more, and if they could make people's lives more difficult, if they could manipulate them more, they would. You know, and they're always trying to figure out new ways to spellcast on the citizens, spellcasting, you know, with words. You know, they always have some way to say something that it all of a sudden everybody falls in line when it makes no sense at all. I'm not too sure any kind of church is really, you know, for the people either. You know, churches are basically a way to create three forecast systems. You know, churches ultimately divide communities, create conflict, friction, creates hierarchies. Like, oh, this, you know, these people are, you know, faithful Catholics and Orthodox Christians, and these other people aren't. So they're not going to heaven, and they're sort of subhuman, you know, so to speak. That ultimately, that's what religion does. Is it creates a place for judgment and confusion. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. That's what it does, you know. And I don't care what kind of an apologist you are and how faithful you are at your religion. If you're pitching your church, you know, publicly, you're ultimately causing confusion and judgment. And it ultimately, it's whoever could pitch their religion better. Whoever pitches their religion better, then that seems like the correct religion. So you have Jews, you know, who are probably along the side of the Muslims. You have the Catholics, the Orthodox. You have all these people trying to pitch their religion. Then you have the Protestants, which is this offset group, you know, that somehow taken over the Bible, and they understand it. They're the only ones that could understand it. So then you have them. Everybody's trying to pitch their religion like they're getting paid for it. Some of you are. Shit, if you're getting paid for it, you know, are you a fan? Are you a fan, or are you getting paid for it? She's about to. So yesterday she did not go for a W. So today she is going for a W. That's what that means. It's her W day. It's her W day. You know, I was watching um, some movie ad, and it was just so fucking demonic. You know, it had so much tension to it. It was harsh. It had sexual undercurrents. It was creepy. It had a lot of, you know, chaos to it. It was just so. It was like one evil image and one evil scene after another, and each scene was like 3 seconds because it's a movie ad, and it went on for whatever, like 40 seconds or something. I'm like, man, what the fuck did I just watch? And this is what creates like addicts and alcoholics. You know, you're a kid and you watch all this shit for 15 years. You're about to have a fucking nervous breakdown. Start drinking and shit. Man, that's crazy, man. No wonder there's parents out there that will not, you know, let their kids watch movies or movie ads. I totally get that. You know, I used to think that was being really strict, but that's being absolutely, you know, aware of you know, kids aren't supposed to, even adults, we're not supposed to see that, I don't want to say people from Europe are evil, but it seems like they really have the edge on, like fear tactics and just basically mind fucks. It seems like a lot of that shit comes from, Europe. How to mind fuck everybody into place, basically. She's so cute. He's so cute, Dingy. So new studies show, and I'm on board with this. Wow, I can't believe I've been talking for 41 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up. I have to go for a jog. There's no way I'm gonna sit here and fucking talk for an hour and 20 minutes like I usually do. So apparently they found out that Irish people are from Turkey. Makes sense. I agree. English and Scottish people, they're, natives to the land, they were indigenous people and then evolved or whatever to the society they are now and went through all their different phases. But Irish people, there's always something different about Irish people. I think everybody could agree with that. They have a sort of like a passion or a different kind of core, a different spirit than, people around them in Wales, Scotland, England, and that's because 5,000 years ago, Turkish people migrated to that island. And it's interesting too because if you look at Irish women and some of the Irish men, they kind of seem Middle Eastern a little bit, especially the women when they're doing their Celtic dances. They have big noses. They kind of have this sort of stature that is Middle Eastern. How Middle Eastern women have a certain stature to them. Irish women have that, and it's like you could see it. You could totally see it. And then you look at guys like Colin Farrell. It's like, man, yeah, he looks like he's half Middle Eastern, half Irish, and he's 100% Irish. So I think maybe like 3,000 years ago, they probably looked more Turkish and more Middle Eastern, but then they had, thousands of years of English people interbreeding with the Irish through different, conquests and whatever. So that's why, they kind of look British, but then they kind of look Middle Eastern also. I'm, part Irish also. And the more I'm looking at myself right now, I'm like, damn, I kind of look Middle Eastern too. So anyways, and the Irish have always been against the group conscious of colonialists, and they still are. You think that would just be common sense, just not to fuck with people, and to our American government. You think it would just be common sense to not fuck with people, but apparently it's not. Apparently these people are part of all these creepy little fucking groups, and they sit around and have meetings and going, you know what? I think we should tax for this. I think we should do this. I think we should do this. And making everybody fucking balance on a ball their entire lives. And people are starting to become aware and going, I'm not playing this fucking Monopoly board game. I'm not buying your shit with processed sugar in it. I'm not buying your shit, and I'm not watching your mainstream news, and fuck off, basically. People are starting to get on board with that. And the more we do that, pretty soon they start taking processed sugar out of their products. Sales only has to go down like 5 to 8% before they just change everything. So pretty soon there's not police, and there's a different name for police, and it's the people ultimately always have the say in things. but they don't want you to know that because you've been, programmed. Look how cute she is. You've been programmed, with television and now influencers, and you've been programmed with movies. She's so cute, Ginger. She's so fucking cute. She is like the cutest. Look at her. Look at her. She is so cute. You are so cute. You are so fucking unbelievably cute. I still can't believe I was away from her for almost 5 years when I was living in Portland. I mean, I did. I would fly out and see my mom for a week to 2 weeks. Once or twice a year. But they had their own place and stuff. So she was fine. She was going to the dog park all the time, and it wasn't like she was alone. She had her like main owner. I just again, the longer you live, you start considering death more, and the ultimate, is, we're all going to die, basically, So it's pointless to try to attain esoteric power and research. And you look at how all these occultic leaders died, and none of them really died in a good way. What you put out is what you get, ultimately. So, and that's why I'm 41. So when you get to more advanced stages as an adult, you start thinking differently. You start thinking more long term, and you start you're more aware of what you believe in and what your influences are. It's so fucking cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I'm not sure about, all these, so-called Christian creators and shit, covering all this creepy content, just for more views and more attention. Isn't that the opposite of Christianity? You're gathering more worldly attention and money and views and popularity and fame by covering satanic stuff on your page. How is that Christian? And of course they're going to say, well, no, I'm exposing the darkness, with the light. It's like, I don't know. I think talking about the light more and just keeping it positive is feeding the light, versus putting up clearly, satanic images. I mean, if shapes can be satanic, it's like, it's a fucking triangle. It's fucking evil. Triangle. See, the funny thing about the triangle, it's kind of good and kind of evil. You see the triangle in Christianity, you see it in occultism. So it's kind of both. The triangle. I don't know. It's all fucking stupid, man. It's like it's a fucking circle. It's like, no, this guy's drawing motherfucking circles over here. Fucking get him. Circle drawer. Circle drawer. Oh. So anyways, I just felt what it is too is I have instrumental dropping. I have an instrumental dropping on the 7th called All Things Shall Pass. And I'm kind of have anxiety when I have music dropping about 3 to 4 days before an EP drops or a single drops. I get this anxiety, like something has to happen, or I'm supposed to be doing something, or I'm worried about something, and it's just like every time nothing happens, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, anyway, so I have a single dropping on April 7th. I have a single dropping on July 7th, All Things Shall Pass, and then another instrumental on July 10th, which is 6 minutes and 36 seconds long. And it's soundtrack music. It's modern world meets classical music, and it's very vibey. I think it could easily be in a movie. It could be part of a soundtrack, or it's very vibey. I don't support marijuana or drugs or anything, but it easily could someone that smokes cannabis would probably be taken through a journey while they listen to this piece, or anybody completely sober also. It's just very After Burnout is the name of that single, and it just has this kind of takes you through a journey. There's 3 parts to that song, and when you're done listening to the 6 minute and 36-second song, you kind of basically probably would have created like a little journey in your mind. It it makes you think of a movie or something. It's reflective and it's sort of inspiring. So yeah, that's dropping on the 10th. I'm really excited about that. I will say that mainstream news and the propaganda and the new topics and the new dramas that drop every fucking week on the world stage, I will say when you get older, you start taking it all a little less seriously, and you start paying less and less attention to it, and then you're able to focus on what you want to focus on in life, and life becomes better and better and has less stress, less of that like whatever frequency that these lunatics have, and the less of that you have in your life, the better your life gets. And then you start thinking like, damn, I should have, discontinued all of these dramas and all this programming, in my 20s, easily. Um, but for whatever reason, it seems like almost like our parents, throw us on this Monopoly board and they're like, go, go, run, like start fucking playing the game, you better start working 50 hours a week. Are you building for your retirement? Are you Republican? Are you fighting for God's kingdom? And just like all this crazy shit, and you just get all wrapped up in that, and then you get older and you're like, you start, feeling bad for your parents, that they were, brainwashed. And then you basically start teaching your parents things, like, hey, did you know that most of the shit you believe in is not even fucking true? And they're like, oh God, I never looked at it like that. Oh my gosh. G. Okay. That's it. I think that's all I got for today. It's 52 minutes. Yeah, I'm about done with social platforms. Seriously, I've been posting so many YouTube videos and done so much Instagram the last 5 years. I feel like I've done enough of that for the rest of my life. So I'm basically might seriously discontinue all social platforms. I'll still release music and most likely will release music videos. I could honestly see myself, producing and making more than I can doing content. I could see myself making music videos. I could see myself doing something else besides going live on YouTube or fucking taking pictures of myself traveling. It's just I don't know. Or talking about how, they try to kill the saint like 20 times and failed, and then he fucking killed everybody, or whatever fucking story there is, it's like I'm just done with all of this fucking social platforms. Who could say things in a way to catch people's attention, who could dress in a certain way, who could travel in a certain way, who could post relatable fucking funny videos and shit. It's just never ending. It's like sitting at the roulette wheel. You just keep, fucking spinning and playing and Ginger, get out of there. You're sniffing at the dishes, girl. I'm about to put those dishes on. Like dogs are awesome. It's like, what is this? So, yeah, I'm just done with this whole, and I feel bad for women on social platforms because, like, you thought women were like princesses and these angelic beings and shit, and then you saw what women really were when they got on social platforms. You're like, damn, these these women are fucking gross. These bitches, like, if I see one more bitch fucking twerking or showing her ass cheeks on social platforms, I think I'm gonna fucking throw up. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be a feminist or sexist or a bigot or whatever fucking word there is out there, but I think I'm legitimately kind of grossed out by women now because of social platforms. It's just the whole feminist thing and just all the shit and the manipulation and all the antics from not just women, men too. It's much, it's much. So it's I don't know. I'm not really I don't know. So anyways, you know, I was gonna say detach, discontinue. I don't know. Um, I guess what it is everybody's codependent on the system for electricity, Wi-Fi, water. Everybody's codependent basically. Nobody has either the physical strength or the mental ability or even the desire to want to completely be self-sufficient. Because ultimately all these comforts that we work for make us codependent on the system, and then they could fuck with us, and to them it's a game and they think everything's funny because they're fucking lunatics and they weren't raised like we were, having to, work hard for $10 to buy some shitty fucking processed food. They don't understand that. Their whole thing is like, how can we trick these people? Basically, that's their focus, and our focus is how can we become more codependent on the government. So it's technology is changing, and also people like younger people in their 30s and 40s are becoming more aware, and so the people are kind of enlightening the ones in their 20s, and these fucking old fucking wankers that are lunatics, they're all in their fucking 70s and 80s, and they're all gonna be fucking dead in the next couple of years anyways. So we're just kind of basically, I don't know if we're all waiting for them to die or what, but yeah, it's the world's going to change, and eventually technology it's going to be, there's going to be a good side of technology, and the technology is going to destroy the system, and it's going to kind of destroy us too. So it's going to be a very fine line to balance that, to continue to take out the system, and then but to make our lives actually better, and so we could have better experiences on Earth, and not hinder the human experience through technology. So yeah, that's I think really all I have to say today. Okay, best luck, y'all. I have to go for a jog. I have to. I have to go for a jog. Yeah, I got to. I got to go for a jog. I had some topics I was actually going to get into today, and some of these topics are so fucked up. They're not negative, but they kind of are actually really negative. And even though I think I got some really good points with these topics, I don't really feel like getting into some shit that's just really in depth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to really explain these topics either. So it would just, I don't know. They make sense though. I just got to figure out how to explain these topics a little bit better. But it's kind of like some next shit. It's shit you've never heard anybody cover on any YouTube channel, any religious topic. It's morality, and it's gonna fucking offend people, and it's gonna make people think in a way they've never thought, and it's going to it's gonna offend people and confuse people basically. That's why I'm not getting into this topic right now. The topic I'm thinking about, I wrote it down on my notes, but it's something I started thinking about like 3 or 4 years ago when I was in Portland, and it's just, and anytime you bring it up to somebody, they're just like, yeah, again, it's something nobody really talks about, but it's pretty evident in all cultures, and I believe people are going to be able to relate to this topic. but it's going to offend the fuck out of people at the same time. So maybe I'll get into that next time. I also was going to get into the difference between traditional form and sparring with martial arts. I was getting into martial arts stuff, but I don't feel like fucking demonstrating a traditional roundhouse kick versus a sparring tournament roundhouse kick. I just don't feel like it, y'all. I don't feel like teaching y'all Taekwondo today. I'm sorry. Class is dismissed. We're gonna go for a walk instead, okay? We're gonna go walk around the fucking neighborhood instead of practicing roundhouse kicks. That's what instructor Trevor feels like doing. So yeah, I am. I'm gonna go for a jog and might do some vocals. You know, All Things Shall Pass. It's such a well-written song, and the melody line for the song and the lyrics are so. It's like probably the best thing I've ever written. So I just really want to record lyrics. I want to be in the zone, you know, because it's probably going to be one of the best songs I've ever released, and that song's going to drop on October 14th. All Things Shall Pass vocal version is going to drop on October 14th with a 5-song EP. And it might be probably the last piece of music that I drop for a while. After that, it's probably going to be stuff that I really work on for, you know, like a year or more. And it's just going to be really quality work after that. This is going to be the last, like, sort of spontaneous, you know, impulsive, like a lot of, like, 6-song EP, 5 Dark Country, physical copies. That's all stuff I recorded really quickly. You know, I'd spend 4 or 5 days on a song, or even less. You know, physical copies. Each one of those songs are recorded in a day. And then, you know, Dark Country and 5, you know, I'd probably spend 5 or 6 days on each one of those songs. A lot of hours, you know. Probably spent, you know, a lot, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours recording that album. But after my EP I'm dropping on October 14th, I'm going to start spending thousands of fucking hours and really coming out with, like, quality fucking music that I spend, you know, 6 or 7 months on one fucking song, and start coming out with some of that shit, because it's just, you know, where I want to take it. So anyways, all right, y'all. Shit. Was any of that fucking recording that last 5 minutes? Because I don't know, I hit something on the screen or something, did something. Hit something on the screen, did something. All right, y'all have a good one.